In first-person video games, the field of view or field of vision is the extent of the observable game world that is seen on the display at any given moment. It is typically measured as an angle, although whether this angle is the horizontal, vertical, or diagonal component of the field of view varies from game to game. The FOV in a video game may change depending on the aspect ratio of the rendering resolution. In computer games and modern game consoles, the FOV normally increases with a wider aspect ratio of the rendering resolution. Field of view calculations. The field of view is usually given as an angle for the horizontal or vertical component of the FOV. A larger angle indicates a larger field of view, however, depending on the FOV scaling method used by game, it may only affect the horizontal or the vertical component of the field of view. The horizontal and vertical FOV are calculated from the following equations. Where R is the aspect ratio, W and H are the width and height, and H and V are the horizontal and vertical FOV. The different values for horizontal and vertical FOV may lead to confusion because the games often just mention FOV and not whether they mean the horizontal or vertical FOV. Choice of field of view, including peripheral vision. The visual field of the average person is approximately 170 to 180 degrees. Console games are usually played on a TV at a large distance from the viewer, while PC games are usually played on computer monitors close to the viewer. Therefore, a narrow FOV of around 60 degrees is used for console games as the screen subtends a small part of the viewer's visual field, and a larger FOV of 90 to 100 degrees is usually set for PC games as the screen occupies a larger amount of the viewer's vision. Many PC games that are released after 2000 are ported from consoles, or developed for both console and PC platforms. Ideally, the developer will set a wider FOV in the PC release, or offer a setting to change the FOV to the player's preference. However, in many cases the narrow FOV of the console release is retained in the PC version. This results in an uncomfortable sensation likened to viewing the scene through binoculars, and may lead to disorientation, dizziness, or nausea. Field of view scaling methods. The terms HOR+, anamorphic, pixel-based, vert and stretch are widely used in gaming discussions to describe how different video games change field of view dependent on the aspect ratio of the rendering resolution. The terms were originally coined by members of the Widescreen Gaming Forum. HOR+ is the most common scaling method for the majority of modern video games. In games with HOR+ scaling, the vertical FOV is fixed, while the horizontal FOV is expandable depending on the aspect ratio of the rendering resolution. A wider aspect ratio results in a larger FOV. Since the majority of screens used for gaming nowadays are widescreen, this scaling method is usually preferred as wider aspect ratios do not suffer from reduced FOV with it. Anamorphic refers to when both the vertical and horizontal components of the FOV are fixed, typically to values comfortable on a widescreen picture, and when the resolution changes the picture is letterboxed to maintain the field of view and aspect ratio. Modern games using anamorphic scaling typically have a 16:9 aspect ratio. If this method is used by a game with a 4:3 aspect ratio, the image will be pillar-boxed on widescreen resolutions. Pixel-based scaling is almost exclusively used in games with two-dimensional graphics. With pixel-based scaling, the amount of content displayed on screen is directly tied to the rendering resolution. A larger horizontal resolution directly increases the horizontal field of view, and a larger vertical resolution increases the vertical field of view. Vert is a scaling method used by some games that support a wide variety of resolutions. In vert games, as the aspect ratio widens, the vertical component of the field of view is reduced to compensate. This avoids distortion of objects in the game world but results in a smaller field of view on widescreen resolutions, and may become especially problematic with extremely wide resolutions, such as those common on multiple display setups. Stretch refers to a behavior where the FOV is not adjusted at all, and the image is simply stretched to fill the screen. This method causes significant distortion if used on an aspect ratio different from the one the FOV was originally calibrated for, and is mostly found in games made when most displays had a 4:3 aspect ratio. Field of view is an effect. Temporary changes to the field of view can sometimes be used as a special effect in video games. Reducing the field of view is commonly used to convey focus, whereas widening it may indicate lack of control. For example, in Minecraft, the field of view widens when the player is moving faster, and shrinks when the player is moving more slowly. See also, viewing frustum, field of view, aspect ratio, 4:3, 16:9, 16:10, angle of view. References: Fengsu School of Design Euro Field of View in Games, Master Games List http, www.wsgf.org/mgl, Projection Transform. Microsoft. July 20, 2012. Retrieved August 12, 2012. The Escapist Magazine, The Darkness 2's FOV issue getting patched, published February 10, 2012. Read July 27, 2014 http, www.escapistmagazine.com/115772 The Darkness II's FOV issue getting patched, FZD School, Information Videos, Episode 29 FOV in Games Part 1 and Part 2, YouTube, Why Good FOV Options Are Crucial to PC Games, May 24, 2013 by Peter Parrish, Ink Gamers, http, www.inchgamers.com/05/Why Good FOV Options Are Crucial to PC Games, Widescreen Gaming FAQ, Screen Change, Widescreen Gaming Forum http, www.sgf.org Screen Change HOR. Example Half-Life 2 http, www.sgf.org-Half-Life 2, Steam Hardware Survey http, store.steampower.com/ Survey, Anamorphic http, www.sgf.org Screen Change Anamorphic http, www.sgf.org Anamorphism, Pixel-based http, www.sgf.org Screen Change Pixel-based, Vert http, www.sgf.org Screen Change Vert, Stretch, http, www.sgf.org Screen Change Stretch.